City mayor pretends to be homeless to check how officials work. They told him everything was good. To understand the situation, needs, and wants of the homeless, Mayor Ben McAdams disguised himself as a homeless person, all to gain a first-person point of view by personally experiencing the life of a homeless person for 3 days and 2 nights. The 3 days and 2 nights that he spent disguised as a homeless person were a chilling experience. He was shocked and understood that homeless people too lived in a world of their own. By the end of the undercover mission, he understood how and what type of help these homeless people need. He stated, "I didn't do this for show or publicity purposes, but it's for the purpose of conducting field trips and understanding the life of street people." The first day he went for his undercover mission, he knew it would be unpleasant. He successfully mingled among the homeless people and made some new friends in a very low-key outfit, jeans and a hooded black sweatshirt. Out of goodwill, his new friends gave him 2 pieces of advice. Rule number 1, don't take your shoes off. He said that you'd have your shoes stolen if you took them off when you go to sleep. Rule number 2, don't go to the toilet during the night. His friend didn't elaborate much about this rule, but Ben assumed it might have something to do with sexual violence. He memorized the 2 rules, and for his first night, Ben slept on the streets as he was curious on why some homeless people chose to sleep on the cold pavement rather than going to a shelter. Ben described the situation as, "Sleeping the streets made me vulnerable. I absolutely didn't feel safe at all." Ben described his experience as a very chaotic environment. Fights broke out frequently and he only had 4 hours of sleep. Some folks said that it was better to sleep on the sidewalk than sleeping in the shelter. The first night passed by and Ben noticed there were a lot of homeless people sleeping on the sidewalks. He was very surprised as there were government shelters around, so why did everyone choose to sleep there? Ben's homeless friend told him that it's better to sleep in the open because the government shelters were occupied by gangs and drug abusers. Now Ben suddenly realized why everyone was sleeping on the sidewalk. On the second night, he spent his night at the road home shelter. The immediate events that he observed and experienced gave him a shock. Turned out, all the information his homeless friend gave him was true. Ironically, it was during his brief stay at the shelter that he saw many people trading and abusing drugs. For the whole night, the smell of drugs filled the entire room he slept in. Other than drug abuse, fights frequently broke out as well. Once, a homeless person got pulled out of bed and had his head banged into the concrete floor, judging by the loud thump he heard. Ben decided to help these poor homeless people. His 3 days of experience staying as a homeless person amongst the homeless led him to understand that those people had their own sets of troubles. Where to sleep, where to look for food, and how to spend a day. This is the life of a homeless person. These 3 questions consume most of their thoughts that they gave up looking for a job or for a house. They had their whole day occupied in trying to meet these ends. By the end of the day, they wouldn't have the energy left to look for work or a home to live in. Ben stated that his first task would be to move homeless families out of the shelter's harsh environment and to reduce the lawlessness terror in these shelters. Ben also decided to build 3 more new shelters and relocate local liquor stores away from the shelter's area, build a courtyard for the homeless to keep them off drug traders, and other long-term reforms. Ben hopes his new shelter would give these homeless people a feeling of having a place to call home. "I know that my 3 days and 2 nights is nothing. It was a helpful insight," Ben said. "But I knew that if something happened, I have health insurance, I have a family, I have a home. My backstop was a phone call away." Even though the mayor's undercover mission to understand the homeless and helpless better was indeed an unusual and shocking effort for a mayor, Ben's effort was actually imperative for him to think about efficient solutions to social problems. He believed that he had to be in their shoes, albeit for a brief period, to find out the truth of their lives. However, ironically, not many leaders are willing to do the same and only prefer to observe and hear from the comfort of their air-conditioned office. With such a good and reliable mayor, we believe that Salt Lake City will become a better place to live in.